Yeah, you guys requested this one. So we're digging in to see if AMSOIL really lives up to the hype.
Absolutely. We're going to unpack all of it, the marketing, the science, the whole shebang. By the end of this, you'll have all the info you need to decide for yourself if AMSOIL is worth it.
Love it.
So let's kick things off with a little backstory on AMSOIL. Now, their founder, Amatuzio, wasn't just some guy who thought, hey, I'll sell some oil.
Right.
This guy was a jet fighter squadron commander, so we're talking high-stakes performance from the get-go.
Interesting. You got to wonder if that experience kind of planted the seed for AMSOIL, right?
Totally. I mean, think about it. If anyone knows the importance of top-tier oil, it's a fighter pilot.
Absolutely. And AMSOIL really hangs their hat on that performance angle.
Right.
They don't just make oil. They were the first in synthetics. Like, they pioneered this whole new category of lubricant.
And the industry took notice. Didn't Amatuzio end up in the Lubricants World Hall of Fame?
He did. It's like the Oscars for oil gurus.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. But it's interesting how AMSOIL goes beyond just the tech specs, you know?
Oh, yeah, their marketing is a whole other story, right?
Exactly. They've got this whole spirit of determination and customer commitment thing going on, almost like they're on a mission, fighting for the everyday driver who deserves better.
It's like they're the underdog battling the big oil giants. And they really play up that family-owned aspect, too.
Oh, for sure. We're not some faceless corporation. That's the vibe they're going for. But it really makes you wonder, how much of that resonates with people? Is it the story, the image, or are people just here for the performance claims?
Right, because at the end of the day, it's about what's under the hood, isn't it?
It all comes down to that.
So we're hearing a lot about synthetic oil being superior, but what's the science behind it? Is it really that different from conventional oil?
Oh, absolutely. It's a whole different ballgame. Think of it like this. Imagine a handcrafted racing engine compared to one you'd find in, like, a mass-produced car.
Okay.
Both will get you going, but the precision and quality of the handcrafted one, that's where the magic happens.
So conventional oil is like the mass-produced engine then. It works, but it could be better.
You got it. Conventional oil comes from crude oil, right? And that naturally has impurities, inconsistencies at a molecular level.
Oh.
But synthetic oil, you engineer that from scratch. AMSOIL makes a big deal about controlling the size and shape of their synthetic oil molecules. They're all uniform, super pure.
Huh. What difference does that actually make inside my engine, though?
It's all about friction, or rather reducing it. Think about those perfectly shaped molecules. They create a super slick and consistent layer between all the moving parts.
So less wear and tear.
Exactly. And that's AMSOIL's big selling point, isn't it? They claim their signature series oil gives you like 75% more engine protection against wear.
75% more engine protection. That's a bold statement. Are they just pulling that number out of thin air?
Well, they do mention this ASTM D6891 standard.
What's that then?
So ASTM International, they develop all sorts of technical standards for different industries. And this specific one measures engine wear under stress.
So they're basing their claim on a real test then. That's good. At least it's not just marketing fluff.
Yeah, it's good they're referencing a recognized standard, but here's the thing. They don't tell us how other oils perform under that same test.
Yeah, how do we know they're really that much better than the competition then?
Exactly. That's where we got to be savvy consumers and not just take their word for it. Now, AMSOIL also talks a big game about their field tests.
Oh, yeah. Like lab coats and beakers?
No, more like real-world stuff. They say they run their oil in taxis, fleets, even race cars to see how it holds up under pressure.
Makes sense. I mean, if it can handle a racetrack, it can probably handle my morning commute.
Right. They call it research, but it's basically pushing their oil to the limit.
Yeah.
It's smart, but again, not much hard data for us to dig into.
So we've got the science-engineered molecules, less friction, and they've got these claims backed by some testing. Okay, so they've got this whole synthetic oil thing down, but they don't just have one type of oil for everything, do they?
Nope, not at all. AMSOIL has a whole lineup of oils, each one tailored for different kinds of drivers and driving styles. It's like they looked at the market and said, we've got an oil for every car and driver out there.
So, like, what all do they have?
Well, they've got their top of the line, the Signature Series. It's marketed as the best of the best, perfect for those gearheads who really push their cars to the limit.
And that's where they push that 75% more engine protection claim, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Longer drain intervals, ultimate protection, the works. They're really pulling out all the stops for this one.
And for people who really rack up the miles, like, they've had their car for a while.
You're thinking of their high mileage line. Designed for engines over 75,000 miles, helps clean out all the gunk that builds up over time.
So it's giving those older engines a second wind.
Pretty much. It's a smart move because they're addressing a specific worry that some car owners have. Then you've got the extended life option.
Which is also about going longer between oil changes,
You
right?
got it. Perfect for those road warriors out there, always driving long distances. Fewer oil changes means less hassle for them.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And they even have options for those new age engines, right? The hybrid and electric cars.
Exactly. They haven't forgotten about them. AMSOIL recognizes that those cars need specialized formulas, and they've stepped up to the plate.
So no matter what you drive, it seems like AMSOIL has you covered. But all this fancy oil, this technology, it's got to come at a cost, right?
Mhm.
Isn't synthetic oil usually more expensive?
It definitely is, and AMSOIL doesn't shy away from that. They actually charge a premium for their products. Their whole thing is that you're paying for the research, the high-quality ingredients, the rigorous testing, all of it.
They even go as far as to call their racing research.
It's a bold strategy, but hey, it kind of works. They're emphasizing performance above all else. But yeah, at the end of the day, it comes down to each individual driver and what they're looking for.
So, what are the key takeaways here? What should our listeners be thinking about when they're choosing their next oil?
Well, first and foremost, it's important to remember that not all motor oils are created equal. AMSOIL's got a solid reputation. They've definitely found their niche with these high-end synthetics.
But that doesn't automatically mean it's the best choice for everyone.
Exactly. It all boils down to your priorities and how you drive.
Yeah.
Do you push your car to the max? Mostly short trips, long commutes. Think about what matters most to you, then weigh those factors against the cost.
It's like you said earlier, we've got to be informed consumers. Look beyond the marketing, understand the science, and then make the best decision for ourselves and our cars.
Couldn't have said better myself. And hey, that's what these deep dives are all about, right? Giving you the knowledge you need to make smart choices.
Absolutely. We've dug deep into AMSOIL, their origins, their tech, their marketing tactics. Hopefully, you're walking away feeling a lot more informed.
And if there's one thing to remember from all of this, it's that you always have the power to demand more from the companies you support. Don't just take their word for it. Ask questions, do your research, and make them prove their worth.
Love it. Until next time, everyone, keep those engines running smooth and stay curious.